Good morning, boys and girls. Today is Thursday, April the 25th, and we are on day 11 of our life cycle of a chicken unit. We have 10 days left. We are over the halfway mark, and I wanted to show you the chicken egg timeline that we're keeping in the room. So as the boys and girls write their books each day, we have pictures back here that diagram what the embryo looks like, the changes that are being made, and what is happening on each day's growth. And as you can see, it happens very, very quickly. On day 11, it says that the beak continues to harden. And like we've talked about, when you look inside the egg, you can actually see the beak inside, and you can see it starting to move. These are our list of vocabulary words. We've had 2 or 3 vocabulary words every day that we've started. So we have written about the development of the embryo on the inside, but we've also incorporated these vocabulary words, and the boys and girls are growing their base of vocabulary words by understanding these words and what they mean, and they're writing those in their narrative story. So that's why this is an informational narrative writing. They are taking real information and putting it into a funny narrative story. So today our 2 words are down and pullet. So down feathers, a chicken is a bird, right? And so they have many different kinds of feathers. Down feathers are the first layer of feathers that develop. They're the ones that are really soft and fluffy and usually yellow on a baby chick, and they're the ones, like on any bird, if you think about a penguin, any bird is going to have down feathers as a sort of insulation to their body to keep them warm in temperature. And then the layers of feathers that grow on top of those would be contour feathers that cover their body, flight feathers that they use to fly with, their tail feathers that they use to guide their flight with. So they have several different kinds of feathers. Down feathers are the ones growing right next to the skin that insulate the body and keep them warm. The word pullet is what we call a female chicken that's less than 6 months old. So a hen that is young, less than 6 months old, we would call her a pullet. We're going to have another vocabulary word coming up, which is what we call a male chicken less than a year old. So pullet today will be used in our writing. So each day the boys are required to write what is happening on the day, draw a picture of the embryo, and then use their vocabulary words. So today they'll be using down and pullet. The last thing I want to do today is turn off the lights in the room and see if we can see inside. Now, by day 14, if we have any question about the embryos developing, we will need to get them out. So, let me move this over. If we find any that have those red blood rings like we've been talking about, and for whatever reason the embryo has stopped growing, then we need to get those out by day 14 so that we don't chance them exploding. So what I'm going to do is just take the lid off, turn off all the lights, take out a couple of these, and let's look inside the eggs, okay? So let me get us a good one. We'll start with a light green one. Most of the time the lighter ones are easier to see through, sometimes not. Let's turn our flashlight on. Okay. Beautiful. Let me back up a little bit so you guys can see as well as I can. See the veining structure right there? See how the black part is starting to take over the white part of the egg? If I am really still, you should see the embryo moving inside. So I'm going to stop talking and let you look at movement. Okay, I see the embryo right here, this big black dot. I see him moving around. I think I see a beak. And that's what we're looking for today, because the beak is beginning to harden, so we should be able to see it through the egg. All right, this one is, for sure beautifully developing. Let's get another one that's light so we can try to see through it. After this video, I'm going to go through all of them and just make sure that what we're seeing is good. Now, do you see a huge difference on this one than the first one we looked at? See how much is light? The other egg we just looked at had a ton of black space, right? It had covered up the shadows of the veining structure and all of that. The embryo had covered up almost the whole egg, but look at this one. This one is halfway light. I believe this one may have stopped growing. So what I'm going to do today is look at it really carefully, watch it for growth, movement. If I see movement in there, it might just be a small embryo that is continuing to grow. But if I don't see movement, it really looks like it is not keeping up with the rest of them, right? Okay, we have a beautiful air sac. Did you guys see that down at the bottom? All right. All right, so what Miss White's going to continue to do is go through these eggs one at a time. I'm going to put the ones back here on the back row that I have some questions about. And in 3 days from now, on day 14, we will get rid of the ones that we believe have stopped growing. And we will have a good firm count of how many may be hatching. And even when they hatch, you know, we may lose 1 or 2. That happens with life, right? So if you have a farm, you're going to have death sometimes, and that just happens with nature. Some of them develop and some don't. But today is day 11 and we have 10 days left. How exciting!